Hey guys, this is Megesh Shanoy, and today we would be going through how we can share Mulesoft Composer flows across multiple instances, right? So with that, let's have an introduction about myself. So as said, I am Megesh Shanoy. I have 2+ years of experience in the Salesforce ecosystem. I am also a Mulesoft and a Salesforce certified developer, a Mulesoft mentor, and also I was awarded with Up and Comers Award by Mulesoft. And not only this, I am also an active member of Salesforce Trailblazer Community Forum. With that, let's get started, right? So recently, Salesforce or MuleSoft released a new feature where we can now share MuleSoft Composer flows between two different MuleSoft Composer instances. This would not only work for standalone MuleSoft Composer instances, but with also with MuleSoft Composer that are installed as a managed package on a Salesforce instance, right? So everyone are curious to know how does it work, right? Whenever a new feature is released, people want to know, our trailblazers want to know how it works, how it can accommodate my use case, right? So with that, whenever I click on new create new flow, so once I have created my entire MuleSoft Composer flow, if I click on the settings icon on the top right corner, there are two options available. One is the export and another one is the import. When I click on export, a JSON file is downloaded which contains all the necessary data of my current MuleSoft Composer flow. And if I want to upload it into my another say MuleSoft Composer instance, then I have to simply again click on the settings icon on the top right corner and then upload my JSON file over there. And once I upload the JSON file, MuleSoft Composer itself would identify and build the entire composer flow for you by itself, right? So with that, everyone is excited to see how does it work, right? So right now we'll have a demo about it. So this is my MuleSoft Composer standalone instance, right? So in this, if I can see, this composer flow would trigger whenever a new account record is created or updated. And right now I want this MuleSoft Composer flow to trigger or listen to each and every event that is happening. So once my MuleSoft Composer flow is getting triggered, it would then update a record, the same account record that is present in other Salesforce instance with the help of the account ID, which is stored as an external ID in my source Salesforce instance, right? So with that, once this is done, I would then post a message to my Slack channel saying that a new account has been created. Kindly look into this. This is to test everything, and just a brief message over here, just for helping us identify that yes, this composer flow really works, right? I would click on test right now. So once I click on test over here, uh, let's wait for a few seconds. So this is my Salesforce instance developer org. So right now what I would do, since my MuleSoft Composer flow would trigger when a new account record is created or updated, right? So right now I would simply um, update the account record in this org, right? So once let me and enter anything over here. So okay, number of location, let's give me 22 and I'll click on save. So let's wait for a few seconds for my MuleSoft Composer flow to identify that a new account record has been updated, right? So till that time, I was talking about this feature over here. If I click on the settings icon, I can see there are two options available: export and import. Again, reiterating, export is to download my MuleSoft Composer flow, and import is to upload my MuleSoft Composer flow into that Composer instance. So if I can see, my MuleSoft Composer flow has successfully triggered. It identified that yes, see, this is the account record that was updated, and based upon that, it updated another account record that is present in my another Salesforce instance. And also with that, it pushed a message to my Slack channel with the necessary message. So if I can show you over here, so this is the Slack message that has been pushed by my Mulesoft composer over here. So this is all about it, all about from the uh, demo of the working on Mulesoft composer flow. Right now I want to export it, right? I want to download it and share it across with my colleagues, or just keep a backup of it, right? I click on export. So if I can see, once I clicked on export, a JSON file has been downloaded. Now, if I can show you how this JSON file looks, it looks like this. It contains all the necessary data of my Mulesoft Composer flow. So with that, I would now, once I have the JSON file, I would click on create new flow, create flow from scratch. So one thing to note is that whenever I import MuleSoft Composer flow, it would override the existing components present in my current flow. So always be cautious about this thing. So right now, once I have clicked on export, it downloaded the composer flow for me, which is in the JSON file. So I want to upload it, right? I'll click on import beta. Once I clicked on import beta, I would now click on select flow. I would now once clicked on the select flow, it would first see. So right now I am uploading this JSON file. If I can see, my MuleSoft Composer flow identified that yes, there are three connections present in my Composer flow. So one thing to note is that with this export import of export import option, I can also switch connections easily. So there is a issue that if suppose my MuleSoft Composer flow is very lengthy and I want to change it from my Composer flow from pointing it to sandboxes to production. So many people have complained that it becomes a tiresome task because they have to scroll through everything and then change the connections. Over here, once I import the flow, if I can see, it gives me an option to select the connection. So let me select the connection right now, because this composer flow was pointing to a sandbox, right? So this is also a nomenclature that if suppose you are connecting to a sandbox instance, always append the sandbox keyword and also the necessary connection name for it, to for you or anyone in your team to identify that this is a connection which points to this Salesforce instance, right? So with that, right now this is pointing to a sandbox instance, right? I want this to point to a production instance. So how we can do that? I would simply click on Apex Instant Production. Now my second, again I would point it to another instance to point it to production, right? I would again click on the production instance. And right now I would, what I can do, I can simply click on the pre-existing connection, the Slack connection which I already done. I would now click on import flow. So if you can see, there is a warning present, this will replace your current flow. Now let's wait for a few seconds to for it to identify each and everything over here. So if you can see, the name of the flow has been changed to imported Salesforce Slack Salesforce sync over here. The same thing, but imported has been appended to it, right? So now you can see it's now validating the connection. Let's wait for a few seconds. Till that time, let me make some changes here. So if you can see over here, uh, basically these sandbox and the connections point basically to the very same org. So yes, so this is my destination org and this is my source org in this case. Now the account ID of this org is present as an external ID over here. It should not be shown over here, but this is just for the demo purposes which I am showing it to you. So if you can see, because last time when I ran the composer flow, it updated this account. Let me again make it blank over here. Click on save. Okay, and right now if you can see, everything has been done. I have successfully imported a new MuleSoft composer flow. I'll click on save. So this composer flow would not only be valid in your instance, but it can be shared across multiple instances, composer flow instances, both in managed package as well as a standalone package, right? So once I have successfully saved this, right now let's click on test. So let's wait for a few seconds for the testing phase to start. And yeah, so till that time, so again this is my account record, and this composer flow would again trigger when a new or updated record of type account is has been no account record has been updated or created in my sole destination org, which is this in which is this org in my use case. So I'll click on edit again, and right now I would again do okay, I would say maybe, and again click on save. So let's wait for a few seconds for my Mulesoft composer flow to identify the account record has been updated, right? So let's wait for yes. So again, it would basically update the account record that is present in my destination org, and then push a message to my Slack channel. So in this case you can change the channel over here. So see, it did identify a new account record has was updated in my source destination org. Then it updated the account record that is present in my another Salesforce instance, right? So if I can show you the details over here, then see, checking if connection changed successfully, which was present in my was present in my Mulesoft connector over here, right? And again it pushed a message to my Slack channel saying a new account record has been created, kindly look into this with the necessary message. So this is all from the demo part of it. So right now again there are few considerations when we would the considerations you are using it. So there are advantages. The advantages are easy collaboration, right? We can share Mulesoft composer flow across different instances. This would also help you collaborate and help not only this, but it would also help you from it won't you don't have to necessarily redo the same task again and again. If you are working in a company and today you have built a Salesforce instance, right? A composer flow which is very generic but it's very useful in so you can download and keep the JSON file, and you can also then if you get a new composer flow instance you can easily upload it, so it would also help you from not redoing the same task again and again. Another advantage is, as I mentioned you can easily switch connections while importing the flow. If your flow is very lengthy, you have to scroll down to the flow and then change the connection. It becomes a tedious task because it consumes a lot of amount of time, right? So these are the advantages part of it, and we have there are also cautions, right? While importing the flow into a pre-existing flow, it will replace everything in the destination Mulesoft composer flow. As I mentioned, there was also a warning message while importing the flow. It is recommended to import the flow inside a brand new composer flow, and the feature is in beta stage, so sometimes it may not behave accordingly. So these are the cautions and the advantages while using this feature. So that's all from the demo part of it. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and learned something new about Mulesoft composer flow. Thank you.